Hey guys, and welcome to Dee Talk Live, Thursdays live on Dee Talk with Dee. How is everybody? How are we all doing? How are we all vibing? What are we all doing? Hope everybody is doing well in this lockdown that we have here in old Melbourne town, and I hope you're all really well and raring to go. We're very excited tonight, and I'm excited to bring you such an amazing topic tonight because it's something I've written. It's an article that's going on the website. It has been officially launched tonight. We are so excited, and I cannot wait for everybody to get onto the website and check it out and read the article. It's called Keeping Up with the Jonopolises. So it's my little spin on keeping up with the Joneses, and it is amazing. It is a controversial article. It is a straight shooter article. When I first wrote it, I did not care. I more or less thought, you know what, we're going to do it and we're going to write it the way it needs to be written because I just say what I feel, and that's what we're all about here at What Dee Thinks, about helping the generation that I love so much, which is the upcoming beautiful generation. So next generation and millennial generation that will be pretty much taking over this world in a good way. How is everybody? Hello to John. Hello to you beautiful people there as well. Natasha, Sophie, whoever's watching me at the moment, you guys rock. How is everybody? How are you doing? Let me know what you're feeling, what you're vibing. Today is a high energy impacted Dee Talk Live because we are talking about not only birthdays in particular in regards to the millennial generation or next generation, We're talking about how it's come across and what's actually happened, what's evolved, what's taken place for, these parents to, pretty much blow out of proportion their kids' birthdays. What comes into relevance? So what's in the backlog that needs to come forth in order for us to really explore and get down and dirty and talk about it tonight? Because we're asking the question, are birthdays these days blown out of proportion? But then you have specific other questions that come up throughout this topic, right? And it has to do, hip hip hooray, birthday celebrations, I do love, yes. But we're not celebrating a birthday, Con. We're trying to talk about why they make these birthdays so extravagant, out there and in your face. A while back when I started writing this article, a DJ actually spoke to me in regards to a 16th birthday, because it has to do with 16th birthdays, it has to do with 18ths, it has to do with the big ones, but this one was a particular one. And the mother got involved so much in this birthday that it was as though it was her birthday, not her actual daughter's birthday. And I even asked the question, isn't it the DJ that usually chooses, the music? But the actual mother wanted to choose the music. You're actually offering your services to someone, but then they're trying to take over your job at the same time as well, which is crazy. And it has a lot to do with past generations and what they were able to do, or what they were able to what they were allowed to do as well, because our parents back in the days, especially in terms of my generation, it was all about working, and it wasn't really about making these magnificent big birthdays, possibly a 21st, because I remember my cousins had a full-on 21st and that was huge. But when it's like a smaller birthday, so something along the lines of a 16th or something or rather. Like, my parents didn't have time for that. We weren't a generation to have time for a 16th. A 16th was a small minority. There might have been some people that did celebrate it. My parents were worried about working and making a living, and now we're comfortable, because of them. They worked their asses off. They busted their asses for us. And that was predominantly what was happening. They were there, but they weren't there. But the thing was, they were still there. So they were still present. These days, a lot of things have changed, Yes, parents are into competing with yes, exactly. Because it's what society actually believes that we should be and how we should celebrate birthdays, okay? So a lot of the questions today that I'm going to be asking you guys are to do with this specific topic. So are parents not spending enough time creating communication and relationships with their kids? That's number one, right? And why I say this is because when planning a birthday, most of the times they plan birthdays and do things that the child necessarily does not want. Only because in a maybe sort of sense, they might have not been able to celebrate their birthdays the way they wanted to, because their parents weren't able to give them that, birthday that they wanted to. So it's like they're living their lives through their children, in a somewhat sense, okay? Then there's, why do you think many parents go overboard in planning their kids' birthdays? Because yes, they want it to be special, they want it to be memorable, right? But then my question lies with, why does it have to be better than anybody else's? Why can't it just be an individual birthday where it's, for example, Despina's birthday, okay? It doesn't have to be a competition at the end of the day. Everybody's competing with people, it should be about love and unity. No one's birthday is better than anyone's birthday. Our birthdays are all beautiful as they are, and mine's as beautiful as yours is. And it's not going to be the same. It's going to be different, but it's still going to be beautiful, okay? That's why it aggravates me. It's because it's not a competition. But because of social media, because of influencers, and because of the way that people assume things to be, then the parents put in their heads that, it has to be like this because they're doing it like this. No, it doesn't. It has to be the way that your child or your daughter or your son wants their birthday to be. And if they want it to be simplistic, they want it to be simplistic. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be as special or as predominant or as not as amazing. It's going to be beyond amazing because it's part of them and it's part of their identity. All right? So you can't take away those facets away from our children because it's what they live for. And you try and make it about yourself. And I understand those are subliminal issues that you might have, but it's not your day. It's your child's day. So let them shine, It's like a wedding day in one sense. And that's what this article reminded me of when I wrote it. Because when the DJ was explaining to me the situation, it was as though it was like an episode of Bridezilla. Not like, it was like full on. And I was like, really? And that's the reason why I said I need to write something like this. So people are aware of what's going on, out there. Because there's so much going on. Another question is, do you believe we are being brainwashed into thinking that a birthday milestone should be, celebrated in a particular way? And I do agree that that's what's going on. Because it's what society believes we should do and how we should do it and what should be implemented, right? Go ahead and do what you feel is right. I'm not, saying that it's wrong. But remember to do it because it's coming from the heart. It's coming from the main emphasis and why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. Not going ahead and doing something spectacular and thinking that, because it's going to be the best. Your children are still going to be proud of you regardless of any situation, regardless of anything that you do, because you're pretty much representing them. And not only representing them, they can see the love that's coming out of you, right? The more love, the more compassion, the more communication we give our kids, the more they're going to be able to communicate with us, especially when they have problems, or especially if there are mental issues there that they somewhat can't cope with because they need somebody that's experienced maybe something that they haven't, right? This is where the analogy comes from it. And regards to social media, it's massive because social media takes over what our perspective, our initial perspective on the matter in regards to birthdays, in regards to image, in regards to identity, in regards to who we're standing as, in our sovereignty. This is us at the end of the day. And that's what you parents need to understand, guys. Like, we need to really, really do this. You can't expect your child to be like you. They're not going to be like you. And these dreams that you have, live them out. Don't try and live them through your kids, because you have a life as well. And you have dreams as well. Everybody does. Like, believe in yourselves in order to be able to do this. You know, and they'll be happier and they'll be more grateful for it because they're going to see you in a different light and be like, far out, mom and dad are so cool. Like, they're actually like understanding me for once, you know, instead of just giving the kid an iPad and there you go, let's handball that off and, you know, into the sunset it goes and I don't have to worry about it or deal with it. I get being a parent has pressures. I understand that it's hard. And, you know, it's one of the biggest jobs. I don't even know how my parents did it with me because I wasn't exactly one of the most, you know, easier childs, right? I was different, right? But that's why they love me so much, because I was different. But they got through it because they were able to communicate. Even though their English wasn't that well, that good, you know, they still went through those ordeals and, you know, communicated boundaries and things that, you know, they couldn't actually fathom because they couldn't understand. But, you know, I came out great, you know, and they've done a great job, which I am so grateful and humbled to have such parents like I do, right? This is what I'm trying to say. The parents need to communicate specific, you know, like ideas and talk to your kids. Like, they'll tell you things that you won't even think that they'd tell you. You know, you have to maintain a relationship. That's where we're losing the connectivity, the communication, the relationship factor between each person and each individual. It's crazy, you know. Taking into consideration that parents work, do you believe they're not spending enough time with their kids, which is what we've just spoken about, right? When you don't find or really understand or know your child, you know, that's, in most cases, that's when things like mental illness happen, bullying happens in schools. You know, there are a lot of things that you don't know. You don't have a connection. You don't sit down and ask them what they did or, you know, at school, or how was it, or what's going on in the world, or, you know, about boys or about girls. These are all communicative ideologies that you need to sit back and talk to them about. Otherwise, you don't, you know, you're not going to be able to understand them, right? And that's where so many problems come into effect, and all these image things and identity things, and, you know, they all sphere, right? To be the person that, you know, you want them to be does not work. They need to be themselves, okay? There's another one. So do you think that parents use social media as a way to give time to themselves, which is what I was saying as well, right? Even little kids, like I've seen so many little kids, I get that they're trying to make them busy. I get that they're trying to, you know, stop them from crying, but that's how they've taught them, right? It has a lot to do with the process, the learning process, how your parents have brought you up, the ethics, the morals. At the end of the day, what they've enlisted in you in order for you to face the world, okay? Because many times, a lot of these kids don't know how to face the world because the parents haven't sat down and actually educated them. Okay, all they've done is, okay, yeah, this is this, that's that, that's that. That's why you see so many kids with so many literacy problems, because a lot of the times they don't know from 1 to 2, right? From this step to that step. They don't know the workings of their generation. Only because the previous generation, being possibly the kids or, you know, not the kids, sorry, the parents or other generations haven't actually taught them what they know or how they would understand, okay? that's the main thing. And even, Natasha, I agree with you, development is so important, because when the child doesn't know, it's pretty much being taught by a social media app or or a phone or whatever it is, right? They're not actually being taught by the parents in regards to somewhat life experience, just life. They don't have to have a master's degree. They don't have to be a doctor. Life experience is the first form of education a child receives. And especially within terms of the first 10 years of its life, even within that 4-year span, the child excessively is learning at that stage. Therefore, these types of teachings need to be implemented into a child's life. Otherwise, as it goes on, its mind does not work the way it's supposed to, because it is fixated, let's just say, on social media or on a phone or a tablet, and this is the way, that's where the communication has broken. It's gone. Because when you don't speak to your child or you don't have a conversation with them, what's going to happen? They're not going to know how to communicate with you properly. It's broken down. They're communicating with something that's right in front of them, and that's about it. That's why there's so many problems at the moment in regards to communicating. And as I've said before, like, even millennials are too scared to even call people. There's a thing with dating as well, right? They send messages. They don't even call the other person. And, sometimes, obviously, as we have said, when you message somebody, so text comes out differently. The expression isn't there. The energy isn't there. Like, as I'm speaking to you guys now, if I was to say this over text, it would be like a documented sort of thing where you wouldn't be able to hear the passion, the drive, and the tenacity through my voice, okay? Because I'm so passionate about this thing, right? This issue, this topic, okay? At the end of the day, it's about trying to develop them so they understand that they can talk to you, they feel comfortable with you. In order to sit back and say, "Hi, Mum and Dad, this happened today. And I really want to sit down and talk about it and stuff, and really get to the gist of what's happening, and this is what I want, and this is what I want from my life." So there's so many things. And obviously, another question: what's the difference between how the older generations were brought up to now, right? And a few of my viewers can actually answer this. So how was the older generation, the past generations, how were they brought up? What was the difference with how, these future generations now are being brought up? Are they being babied, this future generation? Are they feeling, do you feel as though it's the generation that, they think they deserve everything, and, they don't have to work because mummy and daddy are working for them? Or is it that the older generation wasn't as articulate, or, didn't explore or research, because a lot of these youngies as well tend to, and they're amazing, right? This is the reason why I'm saying it. They are so smart. The whole point is they research more than they communicate, okay? Whereas back in the days, we communicated more than we researched. All right, because we didn't have, yes, the technology, but in somewhat sense, I don't think that we would have even gone ahead and researched, because that generation was different. The parents were different back in those days. And it was all about meeting new people, especially coming from, a multicultural family like myself. It was all about family and cousins and talking to people and staying within that vicinity and that group. Whereas now, the sphere has opened up, especially with social media, and, it's more diverse in the fact that you can go out and meet somebody that you might not necessarily know, who's not from around here, or, you've never really met before, or they're friends of a friend, so I'm going to go and meet up with them, with my friend, but then we're going to have a conversation and talk about, what's going on, right? When they don't necessarily even know the person. Hence why we say it's a little bit more dangerous now. Another analogy, we used to be able to play cricket, for example, when I used to live in Yarraville, right, for years. with my brother and the whole neighborhood. We were out for hours. It was like so much fun, back in the court where we used to live. And, now you're even scared to walk out the front door or have your child or whoever play, because you think something's going to happen to them because they know where you are, or they know where you live, or, there might be somebody strange that, is after a specific, something in specific. It's always scared. Like, social media has made us feel as though we need to be not only in a specific way, but it's terrorizing people as well in many ways. The bullying aspects, the whole fact that people know. Some people don't even check in because they don't want people to know where they are, because they're trying to protect, their identity in one sense and where they are, because they don't want people to know, and they might be scared that somebody might even rock up, or who knows. There's so many things that come into terms with this topic. Because this topic was so interesting, I was like, I need to write about this, because at the end of the day, why do we have to, right, be a specific way? Because we're told to be a specific way. Why do these birthdays need to be extravagant? And why do we always need to try and compete, against people? Why can't we all just win? Right? Why can't we stand in love and unity and help each other? If people helped each other, this world would be so much better. Why don't you help your fellow person or fellow neighbor? Why do you think you have to be better than anybody else? You don't. You just have to just be the person that wants your friend or your neighbor or to win the same way, because we're all in it together at the end of the day, guys. This is the whole thing behind, even with sports, for example, and football. I remember a while back there was it was like a football, a football game or a match, and I won't actually mention any names, sorry, but you had football teams, and the kids were only like 12. And the parents are like, oh, yours is not better than mine, and your son's like this, and why aren't your boys both great? I understand that one might be a better player, okay? I get it. But in saying that, they're still as wonderful as each other, okay? Because everybody's got something. One might not make it to the AFL, but the other one might, okay? But it doesn't mean that he's better and he's not, or one's better off than the other. This is what I'm trying to say. It was never like that in regards to competing all the time. Yes, they used to have competitions back in the days when we used to grow up, to get into a soccer team, for example, or a football team. But it wasn't as competitive. It wasn't like that, Whereas now everything's a competition. I'm going to go and, make sure that I have bigger boobs than that other girl, or I have a bigger bottom, It's all about that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to bring it back, that it's supposed to be about unity, love and unity, and making each other understand that we all win. We all win at the end of the day, and you want the other person to win too. Come on, guys, wake up to yourselves. This is what's happening in the world at the moment. We all need to band together, right? Band together and work together in order to, pretty much win in everything. Together. And not think that you're better than anybody else, because we're not. We're exactly the same but different, okay? That's another thing. When you stand in your sovereignty, you're an individual an individual light of your own. And you're pretty much bringing out to the world something different, but that's what makes you so special and beautiful. Always remember that. And parents, really, you guys need to start communicating with your kids, I never got the opportunity to have a kid, and I might, I don't know, okay? But I understand. I see so much going on. I'm in the background of what's going on. I see the kids. They communicate with me. They talk to me. I'm always around that type of generation in order to understand what these kids are going through. The main aspect is communication, okay? And the second is that, the parents really need to start making an effort with the kids and understand where they're coming from. Don't just say, are you okay? And they say, yeah, I'm fine, and leave it at that. research, explore, see what's going on in their lives in order to maintain a stable relationship with them, for them to understand you and you to understand them, in order to help them, to create a future for them that's going to be freaking amazing, because these guys are going to like tear us apart. This generation is amazing. I've said it so many times, but they just need the guidance. That's what it is, the guidance, the adherence, and within terms of birthdays and 16th, birthday parties and big birthdays and overblown parties, go ahead, do what you have to do, but remember, it's their birthday, it's not yours, okay? That's all I'm saying. And live out your dream. Yes, you want to go and have a drink and have a good time at your kid's birthday, go ahead, but, always know that it's their birthday. It's not your birthday. And it doesn't have to be a specific way. It can be the way that you want it to be. Create it in your own mind, because it's their perfect part, that they're always going to remember, right? Because birthdays, you remember your birthdays, and you take them with you. And, those memories last a lifetime. I cannot comment even more. It's how important this is, So, we're in a dog. Yes, exactly, Tony. That's what I'm trying to say, though. We really need to start banding together, regardless. If there are specific people out there that are going to be like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be like that. And if it starts with one person, what happens? The domino effect proceeds, and that's where everybody starts banding together and starts really helping each other. And those people that try and single out other people actually realize what they're doing, and then they're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why do I have to be better? Why can't I help that person? Why, what, because you make more money than everybody else? It doesn't make you a better person if you do, right? Money does not bring you happiness. Money helps along the way, yes, but it's all about an energy exchange, the energy exchange of love. When you give the energy exchange to love, to society, what do you get back? You get not only love, but abundance. And abundance comes with a lot of facets, one which includes money as well. What you do in your life, how passionate you are, and when you're happy, when you actually do what you love, it always comes to you tenfold. And I'll leave that with you guys on today's note. Because it's been a crazy, crazy night. Please go on there, onto this beautiful website of mine here, www.whatdeethinks.com. Have a look at that article, because I love it and we love it. It is a fantastic article. It was made with passion and perseverance and authenticity, which is what I am and who I am. And thank you again for joining me tonight on an explosive, full-on topic that it just needed to come out, guys. I am so excited that I was able to bring it to you tonight. For those who wanted to know, my dad is feeling a lot better, which is great. He's traveling well, which is good. I'm really happy. Thank you for your kind messages, all your beautiful words. Your constant love and support means the world to me. Thank you for joining me every week on our spectacular Dee Talk lives. You guys just make me so happy. And don't worry, I'm not going to cry. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you for joining me again. And be ready to join me for Monday's topic, because it's crazy, for Dee Love Talk Mondays. Thank you again to everybody for joining me tonight. I love you so much. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Thank you. Dee is out. Bye, guys. Have a beautiful night, yeah? And look after it yourselves as well. That's another thing I was going to say. Bye, guys.